Da. Back to you. And just need your art. Looks fine. Does she have a cut on her leg? Not in this version. So let's tweak this a little bit and then we'll get to coloring. Tweak some of this. Fix this a bit. Da-da-da. Yeah, let's change this. Not gonna be too big of a difference. A little bit of muscle there. Not too much. Oh yeah, still gotta redo her sword. Oh my god, I've drawn her sword like in so many different styles. So let's tweak this one to be closer to that. Oh yeah, I forgot to put the time limit. Let me do that real quick. Sorry, just updating this. Wait, did I not put a... Yeah, I did. Hello, Frost. I thought you weren't drawing night, but I can on YouTube, but I can only do it under specific conditions, such as this. It's really annoying, but this is one of those rare times that I can actually draw bits on stream, according to their rules. Like, I'm only doing it because their rules allow it. Hold on just a moment, and then we'll get back to drawing. Alright, we're good. Much thinner than this. But yeah, YouTube's rules say you can draw nudity, but it can't be in their words, sexually gratifying way. Whatever the hell that means at this point. But since she's literally just standing there holding a weapon, not being aroused or anything, this should be fine by their rules. Well, if seeing cat titties indicates that you're older, then there you go. Here you go, everybody. This is to verify that you're not fucking 12. You're welcome, Internet. I don't know. Oh yeah, that thing's supposed to roll out tomorrow, huh? Well, we'll see what the hell happens. So, assuming the hilt of the sword is right here, that means the blade would be coming out around here. I would laugh if looking at my artwork verifies that people are not underage. I would laugh. I mean, really? This is what it took? Either fat characters or cat titties? I'd be amused and yet intrigued if it worked out that way. Oh, they're staying off YouTube to protest? Sure, why not? You can do that. I'll just spend my day drawing whatever it is I need to draw. But if it only lasts a day, then it's not gonna really do anything to YouTube, to be perfectly honest. But who knows? We'll see what the hell happens. I mean, YouTube's been in the hole for years, so maybe losing one day of revenue would actually do something. But you also have to take into account that a bunch of, well, we'll see how this changes tomorrow, but a good chunk of their revenue comes from children watching stuff on YouTube, so we'll see how that factors. Either way, if whatever people are doing, if it works out, it works out. Alright, so she's holding the blade like that. So you wouldn't technically see where the hilt is because her arm is in the way. So it should be good on that front. Let's slim down her shoulder just a bit. Actually, that's probably not a good idea. I think it was better this way. Yeah, looks better that way. I think we're good. Just kind of cleaning up some spots. This artwork that I'm looking at has her have a scar over here. Why not? She's got scars everywhere else. And one more on her thigh. And I think if I were to show her leg turn, she'd probably have like another pocket somewhere. So probably carries like a small knife or something in there. So that would be the excuse of her having a strap on her leg or on her above her ankle. Yes, she has a lightsaber or katana lightsaber, whatever you want to call it. Beam sword. If we're gonna get all copyright, it's like she has a beam sword. She's like a mix of several characters, one of them being Zero from Mega Man. If I'm being more specific, she would be Omega Zero. Alright, every Thing looks fine. Lop Cup's in competition. More like she has competition because she's been around before Lop. She's like, bitch, get in line. But that would be a fun fight between these two. Or those two. Alright. Okay, think I can get to coloring her now. Okay. Get colors. Let me double check this. So you are this. Let me just make sure. Old ass pick of her. And they look to be the same. Cool. Alright, that's all I need to know. Do that, alright. Image of what? This? Yes, I will be uploading it soon. Pretty sure at once I'm done with her, I'll upload her along with the other girlfriends that have been updated or haven't had their artwork posted. Because I think at this point I'd done everybody, and the only ones who already had their artwork done were Venus and Zoe. Because everybody else ended up getting updated or finally got their artwork when they only had like roughs. Everywhere that I post, so DeviantArt, For Infinity, Ink Bunny, probably Twitter and Blue Sky, and then of course on Patreon and Subscribestar. So pretty much everywhere. YouTube is a question mark because although I am allowed to post it, I don't know how they're gonna react to it because YouTube doesn't have a like any blocks when it comes to posts, as far as I'm aware. Hold on, do I even post my Twitter in these links? I probably don't because it's irrelevant. Hold on, let me check if I even post anything. No, I don't even post my Twitter. I mean, I'll link it, or I'll post a link on the stream, but I don't really care too much. Here you go. But yeah, it's kind of a coin flip with YouTube because it's within their rules, but I don't know how they're gonna handle that. So I don't know, I guess we'll see. We'll see how ballsy I am about it. Well, like I post stuff on Twitter, I just never promote it or put it in my links. Maybe I should. I'll go back like however many posts that I've done on each site and just update the links to have it, I guess. It's kind of like if you found me on there, then cool. That's kind of it, really. It's just like not exactly reliable because it's difficult to find my artwork and stuff like that, so I don't really promote it because of that problem. Like, it would be different if Twitter was kind of like, you know, DeviantArt or whatever, where you could just categorize all of your stuff. Then I'd be more inclined to promote it. But because there isn't a feature like that, as far as I'm aware, I just don't bother. Oh, really? I didn't even know there was that. Yeah, it sucks when websites are different from their mobile versions because you gotta jump through extra hoops to make sure certain things are following what you want. Alright, Mia, your mouth has always been an issue in almost every version of you that I've drawn. So let me see what the earliest version of you was like, so I can get a better headspace over how the hell I should be drawing this. Because it's always been her mouth. And that did not help me at all. And if it did, it was very, very, very little. Okay, some versions of her treat her mouth like she's a fox. But then again, cats have that pattern too. So I guess it doesn't fucking matter. I just gotta make it not look shitty. Eh. I think I'm more inclined to just not draw it. Or only make it go around a certain part of her body. But like she has this big wide open like scowl. So like I can maybe do it like that. I don't know. It might be better just to not put a marking on her mouth. Or make the light gray over her mouth. Because it just doesn't look good. I think it's because she doesn't have like a large muzzle that it just seems off. Like I could do it this way, the way I have in the past. I can do it like that, but that just seems wrong. Like unless I make it like fluffed up like this or something, it just seems off. And then same thing goes for when it's like coming from the edge of her mouth, it seems off. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna refrain from coloring it this time around. Just because it seems like it just doesn't fit the character. It seems like she's been like that since day one, when I just never wanted to admit that it looked off. Or I was too stubborn to change it. I'll probably do something more to make up for it. Like, I don't know, let's see if I put markings around her eyes or something. See how that looks. It does kind of lean into her more Egyptian origins. So maybe this might be better. I mean, it's not bad. I'll leave it like that for now and see how it looks when I color the rest of her. Cause she's got the like large ass ears too, like an Anubis dog. which would make sense based on her history. Using blurred images where you tap it to see on Twitter. No, because I've always had it showing everything, so I don't think that was ever an issue with me because I've always had my settings to be whatever. I think I probably changed it like the first day that it was like that, and I was like, hell no, and I just took it off. So I don't even remember anymore. Because I was like, what? That happened? Because I probably got rid of it like day one. Like I do that for all the sites that I'm on. I was like, nah, man, we're going dicks out. Ain't doing shit. It's always been uncensored on my phone too, so I don't know what happened. Then again, I don't go on Twitter as often on my phone, so maybe it might have changed and I just haven't noticed. Because whatever it is I view has just been not censored. But I'll have to look around later and see if it does that. Alright, so think I got Oliver colored. Or at least the parts that I wanted. Alright. Next, we'll do her scars next, just to get that out of the way. Yeah, everything's going alright. Surprisingly, she doesn't have any scars in her tail. Should I put 1 or 2 on her tail? Why the fuck not? Everywhere else has a scar. Ah, okay. Blah blah blah. Yeah, fuck it. We're gonna make you battle hard. Eh, maybe not that big. Just like a cut or two. Different angles. There we go. Right. Should I put a cross-shaped scar on her somewhere? Maybe you know, we'll do it on her face. So we'll just extend this one out. Just a little bit. Alright. Clearly I have overdone it with scars on her, so she no longer needs any more after this. He says as he looks at the tip of her tail. And it's like, you know, she could have one more. Because, like, I could see her being in a battle and, like, you know, her tail is whipping around. And there could be just like a moment where her tail gets like nicked at some point. Seems realistic enough to put an extra scar on her tail. And then obviously she's gonna have back scars of some sort. I blew bubbles as a kid? Yes, I did. I also had a bubble gun, and that gun was awesome. I think I still have it somewhere, probably in the garage or something. I don't know if it still works, though. I know it needs batteries, the last time I saw it. You got me. Good joke. Honestly, I think the only character I've ever known to be named Bubbles was from Powerpuff Girls. I want to say there was also a monkey named Bubbles, but I don't know where that character would have been from. Wasn't there a character named Bubbles in Speed Racer? Is that what I'm thinking of? I don't think so. I think that was a different character. Yeah, I don't think... Yeah, that was a different character. Yeah, that was Chim Chim. Who the hell was Bubbles? Yeah, I don't know. Probably some random name for a character. Like some side character that doesn't mean anything. Bubbles from Lilo and Stitch. Yeah, but that's not the character I'm thinking of. Cobra Bubbles. Why does that name sound familiar? Oh, yeah. I forgot that his first name is Cobra. Bubble Bass, yeah. Yeah, the only Bubbles that has any actual meaning for me is the one from Powerpuff Girls. Alright, so... Next, we'll do her clothing. I think all of her scars are... Well, actually, let's zoom in so we can make sure all of her scars are filled in before we move on. Oh, God damn it. There we go. It's usually just the edges. This one can be tweaked a bit, so it's not just a line. There we go. Gober Bubbles just reminds me of Trouser Snake from Robot Chicken. Just like the way the names are. It's like, we'll call you Trouser Snake. It's like, what the fuck? And he ends up being like an insane fucking sniper. Yeah, it's been a while since I watched Robot Chicken. I should rewatch it again. That shit's funny. I think like later down the line it kinda got... I don't know if samey is the word, but like something... There's like something missing in like the towards the end of the series. But for the most part, it was really good. Oh yeah, it was a good joke. Let's tweak the eyes just a little bit, because I don't want them to be that inconsistent with each other. This would be thinner on this side. There we go. Okay, so let's do her clothes. Or wait, did we get everything? With the scars? Make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay. And fill these in. Get a little bit technical. Alright. Should be good from here. Alright, close. Pretty much gonna base it off of the underground artwork. So use this color, this color. Trying to just grab everything. That I can. I would say it was still good after the chicken flipped the script on the scientists, but there was a certain point where it just did start to fall apart. I think it's because it's kind of like what happened with Family Guy, where they keep trying to like up the level of how adult the jokes can get, but it just kind of falls flat because it feels like they're overdoing it. It's like the earlier episodes kind of had a sweet spot for it, which is saying a lot because there were some jokes where you're just like, damn, can't believe they did that. But there was just like some sort of sweet spot that the earlier ones had that the later ones just didn't seem to be able to catch. And Family Guy suffers from the same problem. So does The Simpsons. I think The Simpsons, like it was going to end with the movie, and then they kept going. And I think at this point it should end, because at this point they're ignoring their own lore. And everything's getting retconned as time passes, because in the earlier days they would show Homer and Marge in like the 70s or 80s or something like that. But as time progresses, now they're saying like, oh, Homer and Marge were growing up in the 90s. And it's like, no. That's not what they were doing. Or like their teen years or whatever was in the 90s. And it's like, no, that was never a thing. So I think it's just that they're at the point where the older the series gets, the more they keep, rewriting their history, because they're making it seem like, oh, kids aren't gonna know what. Cause this is like a thing. I forget where I saw this, but like, what was this? There was something where I think it was like a show or a cartoon or something where they didn't want to show what an old camera looked like because they thought kids wouldn't know what a camera was. And I'm like, what? I'll have to look for it. It was like where was it? It was some kid show where they didn't want to use, because it was like in a time frame where cameras made sense, but they had everybody use their phones instead because they didn't think kids would know what a camera was. And I'm like, how the hell do you not know what a camera is? Like, it's pretty self-explanatory once you show what the object does. But for some reason, they thought that was an issue. But it's like the same thing with The Simpsons, where, like for example, with Skinner, it was already established that Skinner was not his mother's actual son, and that he took the identity of the actual Principal Skinner, or of the actual Skinner. But then later down the line, there's an episode, like this happened like either this year or last year, there's an episode um, where Bart is online chatting, and they find out that Skinner had like a baby blanket or something, and it shows Skinner as a baby, and that did not make sense because Skinner was not related to his mother, and he didn't meet her until after the military. So that didn't make sense at all. And they had like continuity, so it wasn't like just an off joke or something like that Family Guy would do, where they just insert themselves into like every bit of history or something. And so it just doesn't make sense on why they're doing that. So when it comes to stuff like that with The Simpsons, I feel that they should just end the series at that point if they can't stick with their own lore anymore. It's like, all right, you reach your limit. I think if anything, they could probably do like one more movie. And then just have that be the end of the series. Especially since the actress that plays Marge's voice, like her voice is getting rough. I think the same thing happened with Lois in Family Guy. The couple times I've heard her in recent years. But definitely Marge's voice is getting rough. So it might be time to start hanging it up. Either that, or you find a really good voice actor who can mimic her older voice. I guess she doesn't need the pink on this side anymore if she doesn't have it on her arm guard. Or I mean, I guess she could have it there, and then I can put it here. Yeah, I guess I'll keep it. So that way, breaks up the colors a bit. I definitely need to draw her Egyptian armor at some point. So I'll have this color just to break it up, and then we'll put it on the metal. And then probably the bit of her sword has some pink on it. And she does have it on that thing, but what color was where? Okay. YouTube closed on you? That's weird. You know, that's gonna suck if YouTube has like a thing where it closes if you're not watching or engaged long enough or something. I mean, that wouldn't make much sense for them to do that. But who knows? Okay. Most of this looks good. Let me grab the texture that I usually use for belts. There it is. Copy. Wait, did I put this on the wrong layer? No, I didn't. Wait, so where is this? Shit, where is this layer? Did I put it on? Ah, God damn it. Yeah, I put it on the wrong layer. Fuck. Hold on a moment. Huh, maybe I did not. Where, seriously, where is this layer? It should be on this, but I don't see it. This is annoying. Where is this layer? It has to be this layer, because hold on. Okay, yes, I was right. It was on this layer. I was like, fuck, what'd I do? Hello. Hello, hello. Welcome. I don't know what possessed me to put it on that layer, but I did. Okay, I seriously need to get me a new mouse. I'm not quite annoyed enough to do it now. Okay, so got that. Now for the texture. And I don't want to make the texture larger, so we'll split it. Should be fine because the majority of this texture is not going to be on her skin. There we go, subtle. Alright, so now I think I can start doing the rest of her details, and then we're pretty much done, and we can move on to the next step. The blade of her sword will have to come at the very end, because that's after all the other stuff is added in. Let me save, because I don't want to lose anything. Get our eyes. Well, she doesn't have the force, but I'm pretty sure she'd use force. Like, break your arm kind of force. Although she does have somewhat magical abilities, but it doesn't really, she doesn't really use them consciously. It's more when she's in like a freaking murder rage mode that she has like magical abilities. Because she's basically a deaf soldier. So like if a death god wanted somebody off, she would be sent, her and others would be sent to go make it happen. So like a death dealer or something like that. Okay. We'll try this again to see if I can make it look good. I'm sure I could, it just feels off. So let me just see what this looks like. Like, I can make it work, I guess, but it just seems off now. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna keep that. I think this is fine. Alright. So, she looks fine. Moving on. Cancer scars. Hey, you missed one. At this point, she would probably be like, "Shut up! I don't need any more." Blake would look at her and go like, "Damn!" And I thought I had it bad. Um, I like the golden Bomberman mode that you could get in this game. I should watch Read or Die again. That was a fun series. As well as Gatekeepers 21. To make a list of older anime that I liked and rewatch them.
The game's over.
My new cat demands pets send help. Nah, man. Cat law. You gotta do it. Gotta pay the cat tax. I can maybe put the gray, the light gray on the edges of her cheeks. And see, of her cheek fluff, and see if that looks nice. I'll try that after I'm done with the shading. See how that looks before I move on. Because it feels like her face is a little barren, but I don't want to give her like the full-on white bottom part of her mouth, or lighter part of her mouth. The way like a fox would. But it feels like it's just barren, and so like my mind is like, you need to put something there. So I'll give that a shot in a moment. Cannonball! She bit you on the nipple. Well, now you're gonna turn into a werecat. I believe that's how that works. You get bit on the nipple by a cat, you turn into a werecat. Wanted to make sure they got the job done. Oh, where mercy. There we go. I know, right? If you're gonna turn into something, it might as well be something you'll have fun with. Okay, let me experiment with her colors one last time before moving on. Okay, so maybe if we do it like this, it'll look fine. Let's see how this looks. I don't hate it, but it makes her look feathery. Yeah, I'm not gonna do it. It's fine like this. If she got a ponytail, why no head fluff? You know, sometimes there are just questions that have no answer. I did it because it looked cool. Or she could have had a bunch of hair, a bunch of fluff, and she just had it all cut down except for her ponytail. Or trimmed down. That's like the best answer I can really give. Other than I did it because it was cool. Rule of cool. Because she's based off of Mia from Dot Hack, Zero from Mega Man. What else? I know there is more. Oh, technically Anubis, or like, you know, or Basset. And then the scars were just because I thought scars were cool. And then, is there anything else that I based her on at the time? That might be it. It might be just those things. Because I made her back in fucking high school, so. And that was way before Avatar was a thing. When did Avatar come out? Why is this not telling me? 2005, so yeah, she's 2 years older than Avatar. And even then, I didn't watch Avatar until season 2? No, season 3. Because it was like the very end of season 3, I think, when Toph was trapped inside that metal container and broke herself out. That was when I got back into watching Avatar, because I had watched like the first episode like around when it came out, but I didn't like it, and so I was like, whatever. And then I randomly saw that episode of Toph that had Toph breaking out of the container, and I was like, okay, it seems like it got better since I last saw it. And so I rewatched it from the beginning, and it grew on me better than when it released. But yeah, I think what got me inspired with the whole Zero thing was Omega Zero. Not when he initially showed up in the Zero games, but when he showed up in Mega Man ZX, because he was a secret boss. The first Fat Bender. I always thought it was interesting for Omega Zero to say Kinsei when using one of his attacks, because it let him recover 15 health. Because Kinsei means 15. And you like had to really stop him from fucking doing that in the game, because he would just keep recovering health until you like kept him from doing it. And then the fun part is, if you beat him, you got to play as him. So you got to be Omega Zero in that game. So that was fun. He was broken as fuck, but he was fun. They know. No, I want pets. And you give the best scratchies, thank you. I could probably erase this part because of the light. Yeah, it's probably just gonna take a while because he's like everyone is older, like way older at this point. So introducing a new cat is just difficult. So you just gotta ease him in and keep an eye out so that way the other ones don't hurt him or he doesn't do something stupid. I have never had pets unless you count goldfish as a actual pet type of thing. If I ever did get a pet, I'd probably only get a pet one time. I don't think I'd handle any more than that. It's like, nope, I had one pet and that was the only pet I ever wanted. Treat them like a queen or king. And then once they're gone, I'm like, nope, no replacing them. Can't do that again. That makes sense, but that's cute that he comes to you. That means you're his favorite. Oh, that's cute. Yeah, the cats that my friends had before their cats passed away eventually, they were all really nice. There's one cat named Harley, who I don't know cat breeds. All I know is that she was like a grayish cat with like dark gray stripes. She was really sweet. There was a time that I was laying down on like just chilling on my friend's bed while we're playing games or whatever, and a cat jumped up and like laid in between my legs and fell asleep. And I was like, well, can't move for a while. And then one time I was sleeping over. I was sleeping on the couch, and at some point in like close, like I don't know, it's like 3 a.m. or something. The cat came up and like laid on my back and just fell asleep. And like I woke up to it for briefly, and I was like, well, by cat law, I can't move now. And so I just went back to sleep, and she didn't get up until like way later, till like it was morning. So that was fun. And then there were like two other cats that were really nice that other friends have had. So there's like three different cats that I liked. There's like a new one currently. She's okay. She comes to me every once in a while, but most of the time she's chilling in my friend's room. Aw, that's cute. So I gotta make sure he's okay. I'll stay here. Making sure all the monsters don't get you. Jesus. 20 cats. Trying to start an army? Damn. Let's lessen some of the shade on her chin. Oh. That might be a sign that you should just bend over and pick her up or something. When she shows up, you'll be like, oh shit, here she comes. It's cute when animals do that. Like, there's videos of, like, this guy who goes to see these, geese every once in a while. And, like, the youngest geese had, like, gotten used to him. So every time he shows up, the youngest geese, like, just comes running with its wings open, excited. And it's really cute. Or videos of, there's like a video of a baby duck falling asleep while somebody's in like a class, and the baby duck just falls asleep during class. If I step outside and she notices, she will hunt me down. She'll be like, bitch, where are you going? Say, hey, where are you going? Can I come? Hey, why are you leaving? It's always funny though with dogs where they start howling. And like I'd be at my friend's house and one of their German shepherds would just start howling and all that, and I'd be like, behold, the song of my people. She's the one that's on the mission. She's like, nah. Like, nah, he's mine. Back off. Hello. Detail on her fluff since it's just her character art. But I won't be as consistent when I use her in a comic. Oh, I'm sure Becky has done it and hates the fact that she's done it. Her sister's like, Becky, did you just howl? And she's like, no. Granted, most of the bestial instincts don't trigger very often, but when they do, it's sometimes embarrassing for the person. They're like, oh my god, I can't believe I just did that. Do I want to do this? Nah, probably not. But I do want to clean that up a bit. We'll see how much of it I have to fix. Okay, not much, but I gotta fix it. You know, it would help if I was using the right brush. There we go. Could see that. Or just like giving him random information that doesn't mean anything. She's like, oh yeah, I see the spots on that egg, that means it's fertilized, so gonna have to take care of that one. And he's like, wait, what? Okay, that's the second time you've done that, so time to have Joanne eat you. Either he does that or he has a recording of her quacking. And then she's part tiger too, so she probably purrs or makes like chirp noises. I can see you're teasing him, going like, you know, I'm part bug too, specifically mantis. So she's like, good luck of me not biting your head off. And then he'd have a hard time knowing if she was serious. Unlikely to happen, but I could see her at least biting him. Yeah, she probably does that. She probably trots since she's part horse, or jumps around since she's a kangaroo. She probably has a lot of habits that she has a hard time keeping in check. Because it's happening all at once. It's not just one little habit that a particular species would have. It'd be like, nope, I have this issue with all of my genetic twists. You can, with lots and lots of practice. Start now. I have been doing this for years. And I'm still learning stuff. So don't think that you can't do it. Just start somewhere and work your way up. I know, if Becky was fucking real, she'd be on my ass about all of her pros and cons. She'd be like, no, you're sleeping on the floor. Just kicks me off my bed. I don't even get a couch. She ensures that I sleep on the floor. Art lessons with Viro, Jesus. Yeah, you just gotta keep at it, and when it comes to anatomy, you just gotta really, like, you gotta understand anatomy so that way when you draw the figure, you know why certain body parts go the way they go. Because the more you learn about it, the easier it is to like break it later on with certain character designs, and you know, when you're drawing them, you already understand how the limbs function and stuff like that, and where they go, and what makes it look more realistic to the design. Like, it doesn't have to be realistic in terms of like this looks like it's photoreal type of thing, but just realistic to, okay, this body part goes here and it's attached like this because of how this particular character's anatomy design functions. Like, you're doing it to understand. And then, of course, obviously you want to learn like lighting and stuff like that so you can understand how shadows work. Which for me is a lot of hit and miss. Ida and Becky having that. I always picture Becky with Daria's voice. Ida, if I was gonna picture someone with that kind of voice, it would probably be someone like, I don't know, like an aunt of some sort. So maybe if I ever drew Marcy's aunt, I could see her having that kind of voice. Or anybody else that's similar. I work in monochrome colors. I mean, the same thing goes for like monochrome colors and all that. Like, once you understand how everything works, it gets better. But yeah, you definitely gotta learn some of the do's and don'ts. Use reference. There's nothing wrong with using reference. If somebody is making fun of you for using reference, then fuck them. Because there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, poses are a bitch sometimes, because especially when you're drawing like a character and you want people to see like certain details of your character, the best way to do it is just have them standing, but you don't want to always do that with everybody because it just seems boring, and that's kind of the trap that I kind of fell in for a little bit, or actually still, because I'm drawing the characters poses or in this pose because I want people to see their details. But at the same time, there's nothing keeping me from drawing them in an action pose in the future. So I think it's good to just have like a standard pose of them standing, so that way you can see the details you want to see, and then draw another picture of them in like an action pose, so that way it's like, you know, making them look cool and stuff. And then also, there's always going to be a chance that there's some detail that people just won't be able to see, like, you know, a character's back scars, for example. So unless you make like a reference sheet stating that, or showing that that's the detail they have on their back, nobody's going to know that until you show them in like, I don't know, like a comic or something. So don't get fixated too much on poses. Just pick the pose that you think, you know, gives off the best details of your character or whatever you want it for. And then if you want them in a different pose for a different reason, then do that in another picture. It's just easier to not fixate on it. Yeah, and I understand anatomy is just like a big pain in the ass, because there are just some details that just, even to this day, as I keep drawing, like I'm still like, okay, does it really work this way? And I'll like look in the mirror, I'll look at other references and stuff like that, and I'm like, well, it says I'm doing it right, but it still looks weird. And you just kind of have to come to terms with that after a certain point. It's like, yeah, it looks weird, but it'll still look nice when you know, finish the picture. So there's always going to be moments like that where you're just like, why does it look like that? And you're like, oh, I guess that's how it is. Weird. Like, for me, it's usually like the connections between the back and the hips that somehow throw me off for some reason. Dun. My cat is just standing there menacingly. Uh, He is a plastic muncher. Yeah, I've seen a few cats do that. One of my friend's cats likes to eat tape for some reason. So she has to keep him away from it. Zoom in a bit. And with that, she's pretty much done except for her sword and background. So I'll work on that off stream. But yeah. Thank you everybody for coming. I will stream again tomorrow night. At 9 p.m. Pacific time. And yeah, when she's done, I'll post her along with all of Jolly's other girlfriends, or the ones that got updated, since 2 of them are already fine. But yeah, thank you everybody for coming, and I hope you guys have a good day or night.